Hi, and a very good morning to our beloved lecturer. So today we are going to present about our first assignment of Introduction to Sociolinguistic subject. So we are we are from group 5, and according to this subject, we are required to identify one of the community in this world. Uh, so our group has chosen one community, which is Indian community. So here are our group members. The first one is me, myself, Nofatiha binti Muhammad. The second one is Pravita. And the third one is Azila. Okay, so now today we are going to explain in detail about our assignment. So now I will pass to Pravita.
Hi, madam. I will present about the introduction. So first, as we know that language as defined as a symbol of the culture unique in the some ethnic or races or in the country. So language shapes also known as the language replacements or adaptations. It regularly happens among the community that often migrates to another country for some reason such as war and something else. And language shift also happen among the community that has less value over the native language. So the last one is a phenomenon overlooked the worldwide. So that is the introduction. That is from me.
I will be presenting on the background of the Indian community in Malaysia. So initially, the Indians migrated to Malaysia in the 19th century. All right, so they were migrated to here based on during the British colonial era. So the British brought the Indians into Malaysia, or it is called Tanah Melayu that time, Malaya, via a system named Kangane system during British colonization of Malaya. All right. So during the colonization, this system was created or introduced by the British in order uh, to overcome the labor need in Tanah Melayu at that time due to the plantation. So British did a plantation at Tanah Melayu, and therefore he needed the workers at the plantation, and that is where Indians from India started to be brought into Tanah Melayu. So predominantly Tamils, with some Telugus, Malayalis, Gujaratis, Punjabis, Sindhis, Pathans, Kannaris, and Sri Lankan Tamils came in during this era. All right. Also, during this era of people being brought in for labor purpose, many of this group of people also have been scammed into some of the schemes of um, uh, getting work and all. They have been made into slaves and all. All right. So why that most of the people from India start to come in is because this group of people starts to migrate to here in the mindset or in the belief that this is a way of making money or overcoming the financial problems that they were having at those time. They thought this is a shortcut to become financially free. All right. So moving on to the language that is being spoken by Indians uh, is Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Punjabi, Gujarati, and Malayalam. There are also uh, other languages that are being spoken by them, but Tamil is one of the most widely used um, language. So initially, the Telugus and widely the Malayalams, they doesn't understand Tamil. But as years pass by, as they came into Malaysia and they start to stay in another place, at one place and all, even the Telugus and the Malayalams, especially some of the Punjabis, also started to understand and learn Tamil. Um, they started to use Tamil in their daily basis as well. They started to learn to use Tamil to understand Tamil. All right. Talking about the beliefs of the Indians, they believe in Hinduism, of course. All right. They have a great belief in ultimate truth. Yes, they have a great belief that everything that happens in the past life and everything that is going to happen in the uh, that is happening in the current life and that is going to happen in the next life of a soul is interrelated. So they believe in the uh, in the ultimate truth that whatever that we are doing in each of uh, our in each of our life that is being gifted to us, it will be interrelated. And they also believe in karma, where whatever that we are doing in our daily life, we would get we would get payback and not. All right. And next is that the Indians also believe in reincarnation, whereas a person has life after death. All right. So, other than that, talking about Indian community, uh, they like sweets, they like colors. Uh, their culture is very colorful. They like to keep things, good things, colorful. uh, Mostly when there is a religious or cultural or more like a good occasion is going on in their family and life, they like to have sweets before anything because they believe that sweets before anything will make life happy. So that is it for my part. All right.
Okay, thank you, Pravita, for your explanation. So now I would like to explain about language shift. Okay, so basically language shift is occur uh, when uh, when the community is change or adapt another language, then we call as a language shift. For example, she is an Indian, then for some reason they have to change into another language to communicate in their life. For example, for uh, for some purpose, change the change the language for some purpose. That that's we called as a language shift. Okay, so according to the language shift, we have few factors that make the language shift occur. So the first factor is democratic. The second factor is economic. The third factor is social, and the last one is attitude and value. Okay, so now we go through one by one. Okay, for the democratic factor, it's happened when there is a community of speakers who move to a region or a country whose language is different from their own. There is a tendency to switch to the new language. Okay, so most of the Indian community moved to Malaysia and worked in a farm area, and their communication may be different from from others or from the Malaysian. So from that they have to turn to the English language for them to communicate easily. So here the language community occur uh, when uh, when when their surroundings language is different from their mother tongue. Okay, so now we move to the economic factor. Okay, so for the economic factor, it's occur when they need to work. For example, some of the Indian community can switch both location and language for this reason. It's obviously uh, it's obvi- it's obviously occur when 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 it's most obvious economic reason when for learning another language and for getting some job, and this kind of people they able to losing their own mother tongue. So for this factor, people uh, people will change into another language to get a job that they want. So in Malaysia, many speakers of Indian language have turned to English. So that's here they from Tamil they changed into English language to get the better job, mainly to get job, and they need English for their job, for their job success, and for their social well-being to make friends. And and in Malaysia, as we know, there is a lot of community in this country. So from here, if we only know one language, we cannot make friends with another person. But for example, in school, in one class, we have a lot of community in our school. So at least we must know few language to communicate with them. So next, we move to the social factor. Okay, so for the social factor, it occur when we get some pressures from the surrounding. So for example, immigrant who look and sounds different like Indian are often perceived as threatening by members of the majority group. So here, when uh, when we feel like why uh, why all of them speaking English, why then from that they might change the Indian into English because of their surrounding. And as we know, some countries speaking good English has been considered a sign of successful assimilation. So that they must want to know and learn English. To get uh, to to feel better and a good person. And other than that, it might be happen when the language is different and there is a tendency uh, for to them switch to the new language. Okay, so now next and the last one, we move to the attitude and value. Okay, so for the attitude and value, um, it the language shift occur when the minority groups support the use of the minority language. From that, it helped them resist pressure from the majority group to change the language. So from the negative attitude toward language can also accelerate language shift. So from that, it happened when the Indian language is not held in high esteem, and it it is not seen as a symbol of identity. So in this case, most of the Indian community preferred to use English, uh, and the language must be used rather than mother tongue at home. That's why this kind of attitude might might the language shift occur. And from this attitude also, most of the community will lose their mother tongue. And this negative culture and attitude probably made the Indian language become extinct. So that's all for me. Now I pass to Azila to explain their part. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Nur Arzila, and today I will present about way of reversing language shift. So the first one is to increase the prestige of the Tamil language. So Tamil language has been exist since 15th or 16th century. So all the community should be together to increase uh, the practice of the language among them. It can be start from the families, members, and continues to the communities and grow up to the country and into the world. So this is to make sure that the language of the Tamil does not Tamil of the language does not gone from the community to use in not be gone in the community. So next is can write down the language. So from the one research that say that around 15% of the Indians in the Malaysia cannot speak and write the Tamil language. This is because in the Malaysia, Bahasa Melayu is the main language and followed by English as the second language. So when you want to find any work or job in Malaysia, you have to fluent, not a fluent, you have to know how to speak English and Malay. So most of them refer to speak Malay and English instead of the instead of the Tamil language because of the job. And next is parents can start to teach their kids Tamil alphabet or letters. Maybe not all, not all the letters in the one day. Maybe the parents can start slow, can start a 5 or 6 letter and words in the daily. So it start from next day. So the knowledge of the kids knowledge about the Tamil letter will be increased day by day. So next is have a strong presence in the education system. So government has built more than 300 sekolah jenis kebangsaan Tamil around the Malaysia. So parents can start, or Tamil parents, Indian parents can start send their kids to the SKGT instead of the international schools or the sekolah kebangsaan or something like that. Because in the schools, teacher teach the educations. All the school that's there is not special in the like in school. All the school teach the education. When you go to the international, to the sekolah kebangsaan or sekolah-sekolah jenis kebangsaan, every school has teach the education, has teach the maths, science, language like English or Malay or something like that. So the same. They have the same subjects in every school. So there is no special. But when you go to the when like when parents send their kids to the international schools, the society, the circles of their kids will be more big because they have meet the peoples around the world, right? Instead of this sekolah jenis kebangsaan, they just sit in the circle that they in the circle of the community only. So next is the increase the wealth of the Tamil language. So there are many of the so Tamil, there are many of the will that the people not know about the Tamil language, which is the Tamil language. The Tamil writing in the inscriptions and the process has been formed in on the 5th century. Tamil also is the primary language of trade in the South Asia during the pre-colonial era. So this historical event should be exposed to the young generations and the people around the world to make sure that the language not die in the community just because of the environment factor, such as English. So Tamil has been found since 5th century. So it's a long time ago. So make sure that so this is to make sure that the language not be gone. So the people should be together to make to 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 increase the wealth of the Tamil language. So next is the domain in the language. So the first one is the law and the government. So Tamil language has the little functions in the law and the government sector. For example, when we go to the any government place such as JPN or anything, they only use Bahasa Melayu and English as the main communications, right? For like when you got the letter from the government, the letter will be on Bahasa Melayu, right? And Bahasa Melayu or English, not the Tamil. So next is the educations. Government less, for example, for the education, less use of the Tamil language in the school, and this is because when we see in the scholar government school, many of the people use Malay word or Malay word, and we can see that all the government schools use the Malay word in around the schools, and the Tamil language only used in the community, in the Indian community where study in that school only, right? So Tamil language has been used widely only in the SKGT because all the people around that is a Tamil. So the way the first language they use is the Tamil for communication. And next is the family. So the family can start use Tamil language in our to communicate around the family members instead of the English language. And the community, because it start from the community, when start from the community and grow up to the society. Everything must start from the family. So family can, maybe the parents can start speaks in Tamil language to their kids, and their kids start to speak have a little bit, maybe little word to their friends that they meet. So that can be improved on instead of the bahasa Melayu that widely used in Malaysia. So next is the conclusion. So the conclusion is all the peoples in the country should take the action, especially government school, to build many of the SKGT around the Malaysia, especially in the area that has many of the Indian people. This this is to make sure that the Indian youngest Indian generations know how to speak the Tamil language and not just focus on the English but also their mother tongues. Okay, thank you.